Welcome to this edition of the Neal Weaver Forum featuring Dr. Neal Weaver, president of Stephen F. Austin State University. I'm Tom Reynolds, lecturer in the Department of Media and Communications. Dr. Weaver, welcome.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
How's it going today?
Yeah, today's good. Tuesday, beautiful weather, great time of the year. So
it shouldn't be this hot in October.
Well,
it really shouldn't be.
That's probably true, but it's a fantastic time to be on campus and lots of energy, lots of excitement about things that are happening around here, and that makes it fun. So
yeah. Well, we're at the halfway point in the fall semester. But one of the things that's been going around and for a topic of discussion is all the building projects that are going on here. Can you share something a little bit about that?
Sure. We kind of released or made public a lot of our campus master plan a couple weeks ago, and we're getting some feedback from folks, not just on campus, but around town and people in the community, and it's really very positive. The plan is pretty spectacular. When you think about what's going to happen here over the next decade and a half, and the need that the institution has to modernize some of its facilities, make sure that we're teaching in new spaces that are designed for the world that our students will be going into, it's really, really exciting, and I'm looking forward to seeing how much of it we can, bring to life. But we've already got it started, right? The new cafeteria opened right before this semester started. The forestry and agriculture building, it's really a complex because it's more than one building, has already started coming back up out of the ground. And that's really, really exciting to see. And then entrepreneurship is, we have approval for the building. We're finishing up with the architects, and I really expect to see that building start to see some building progress sometime in January. So if you add all that together, that's about $250 million worth of construction. The system provided an additional just under $40 million that we can start doing some deferred maintenance and updating. So the old HPE building is on our agenda to try to renovate and start to use some of that space that's just really kind of dead space. The Rusk building and the Austin building are in need of some water damage repair to keep those buildings in good shape. We need new roofs all across campus. There's a few elevators that get stuck from time to time, so we need to do some work there. So it's really going to be an amazing time. Joining the University of Texas system. They do have a lot of resources, no question, and they've committed to provide those resources that we need. But they don't just hand it out and say, good luck. I mean, they really want a plan. And so it's been a really exciting, fun process to get people to think, what does this campus need to look like? What does it need to feel like? How many students will we have? There's 4 additional residence halls planned for our future expansion. And that's one. We need more beds, but we also need to get rid of some of our old residence halls that are just not in good shape anymore. There's 3 additional parking garages on the plan. As we think about
really?
Yeah. So if we think about going from 10,500 students to well over 15,000 students, you just need more parking, and you need more places for people to be. If you're going to add more housing, obviously, you need more parking close to those housing facilities. So there's a lot of exciting things, and trying to figure out who pays for what and where does the money come from and when do you need the money, because as you know, forestry and ag is happening right now. Well, those forestry and ag faculty members are dispersed in other buildings.
Yeah, one of my classrooms is going to be sharing with forestry students this next semester.
Yeah, and so you can't renovate the spaces where those faculty have been displaced to until you get forestry finished. So keeping that schedule and cycle of when is this going to happen and when do we need the money to make sure that happens. So it's a really interesting planning process, and you coordinate that with the system to make sure that the funds become available. We know what our capacity is here at the university with bonding, and some of those bonds are going to we're going to pay off a couple of big bonds in the next couple of years, so that frees up money for us to go back out on the bond market. And if tuition ever goes up again, which I would think it will sooner or later, and we grow our student population, there's going to be a lot more revenue around. So it's a lot of fun to think through and to process and to try to have a strategy as we look at what this place could be. And the drawings, I think everybody has really enjoyed the drawings and what they look like, and some really modern new spaces, closing some roads to make our campus a little bit more pedestrian and people friendly. And so a lot of fun stuff that we're looking forward to.
The entrepreneurship building, I'm interested in that. Once that building is open, and it's a couple of years down the road, what can we expect that could be accomplished in that building?
Well, it is, I think, probably one of the most significant academic investments in this university's history, because you're starting to see how entrepreneurship allows different disciplines to come together and think about themselves in a new way. One of the things that we're putting in the new entrepreneurship center is a volume studio. So a volume studio is a opportunity for people to film or record, whatever, I don't know what they call that anymore, but like TV shows or movies or commercials or thing. And it's the most modern, most digitally advanced approach to filmmaking going on in the country today. We have a filmmaking program. We have an animation program. We have a digital sound recording program. And those are all the things you need to make a movie, to be in the film and TV industry, whether it's recording television commercials or full-length movies. And the state of Texas is now giving away tax benefits, tax credits to companies that want to come to Texas to film their material. So if Texas is going to incentivize this industry to come to the state of Texas, and we have all of the academic programs necessary to support that, what we need is a space that not only talks about the academic disciplines, but understands the economic impact that this kind of industry can have on East Texas. And we need our entrepreneurship students to be seeing this as, wow, if you bring a production crew to town, what do they need? Well, they need to be able to rent equipment. They need places to eat. They need a caterer on site. They need all these things. Well, those are all businesses. And so how does East Texas and Stephen F. Austin expanding the film industry in East Texas impact the entrepreneurial opportunities that exist in our own communities, whether that's rural communities or people that want to come and support what we think will be a growing industry here in the state of Texas. So when you bring these components together, you get students looking at specific business opportunities from multiple lenses. You know, a culinary student can say, wow, I could be the caterer for this studio. This could be my business. And agriculture, there's incredible things going on with agriculture and technology. They're using drones to spray their fields. They're using drones to check on their cattle. Well, we have a drone program. We have that being taught. Well, but are they talking to each other, and are ag students connecting to the science and to the technology that they will be using 10, 15 years from now on a regular basis? So bringing those together in an environment where everybody is looking for how does that create a business? How does that change your business? How do we bring what I like to do and what you like to do together in a way that totally changes the dynamic of how that's done? And we know that artificial intelligence is going to be obviously playing a part in changing the way that businesses are run. There's a lot of concern about will entry-level jobs go away, or will those all be done by artificial intelligence? Well, we need our students to understand, if that's going to be the case, where do you fit in? Where's your role in using artificial intelligence? How do you incorporate this new technology into the into the discipline you enjoy.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because that, by coincidence, was going to be my next question about AI. Because even my classes, I've been having students use AI with their assignments because it's writing focused, and they have to write, and then AI writes, and they have to combine the two. And getting what you were talking about with production, there's tons of runway production going on. Los Angeles is slowly fading away.
Yep.
And a big studio was built out in Texas, and they say most of the runaway production is coming to Texas right now because of the tax incentives and all that. So I think this is a good opportunity for this entrepreneurship to become a part of that. Because now, getting back to the AI question, does this entrepreneurship program because I was talking to a colleague just the other day about we wanted to propose a course where we have an AI development course, an AI training course. Is that something we could do with the entrepreneurship or anywhere?
Yeah, I would hope so. I mean, that's exactly the kind of thinking that we hope gets people excited about what's coming. And one of the things we've done through the Entrepreneurship Center is we've identified 16 fellows, entrepreneurship fellows, 16 faculty members embedded in each of the academic disciplines around campus. And they're going through training this semester. And then I hope next semester we start to see those fellows in each academic discipline talking about what are the entrepreneurial ideas and activities around art or around music or around engineering or around computer science or artificial intelligence. How do we embrace those entrepreneurial activities, and how do we get other students and other faculty members to embrace these kinds of ideas? And so when you start to bring the disciplines together around those ideas, and then those fellows are talking to each other interdisciplinary, I hope we really start to see some exciting new things happening on campus, new ideas for new degree programs or new partnerships or new research projects that can all come out of this collaboration that is being driven by entrepreneurship and the idea that the world is changing and the way that people do business is changing. And we need to be teaching our students how to be ready for that. Artificial intelligence is an incredible example. I know that some faculty members when I was growing up didn't want us to use a calculator, right? You remember that?
Yes.
But the fact is, a calculator was always going to be available to me. So I didn't really need to know what I needed to know was how to use the calculator. And I never really learned how to use a calculator. But so when the internet came around, there was a real resistance in higher education to allow people to use the internet to do their research. And, you can't trust everything out there. Okay, I got it. But now we use it all the time, right? It's every day, all the time. So artificial intelligence, I think, is the same thing. We need to be saying, not don't use it. The question is, how are you going to use it 10 years from now, 20 years from now? And how do we get you ready to understand how you can incorporate it? One of my biggest questions about artificial intelligence is I want to know the use case, right? I get what it does, and I have it on my phone, and I ask it silly questions, and I find it humorous. Yeah, but the question is, how will somebody actually use it? And I'm not smart enough to understand all the use cases for it. But if you're in a bank, what will a bank loan officer? How will they use artificial intelligence 5 years from now? That's what we need to be incorporating into the teaching that goes on here. So I'm excited to hear that as faculty members, you're talking about those kinds of things, because to not include it is not the reality of the world where we're headed. So incorporating it in responsible ways that help students understand, not only do you still have to have the knowledge and the skill, but you also have this new tool.
Yeah. And
use both. And I don't think we want to get away from the core learning that we have to have. I was mentioning this the other day. I've taken statistics, I think 4 times in my academic career, and they always wanted me to know the formula.
Yeah.
And you had to memorize the formula.
Sure.
And I keep asking, I can find that formula in 10 seconds. I don't need to know the formula.
Yeah.
I need to know that I need that formula.
Yeah.
But I don't need to know all the little, symbols and all that. So don't ask me to learn things that I don't need to know. But I do need to know that that formula is the one that gets me the answer I'm looking for. That's important. Where it is, what the formula looks like, unnecessary. I can find it instantly. And so that's what, I hope that's the kind of conversations we're having. What are the really core, fundamental, never-changing academic knowledge pieces that any person needs to have? I don't need to know when a battle took place, right?
Yeah.
I can find that out very quickly. But if I understand why the battle took place and what we learned from the battle, then that history becomes applicable. If you ask me to remember the date, I don't know why that matters.
Yeah.
And so I hope I don't offend any history teachers. But, there's information that you can get immediately that doesn't change the knowledge that you should have learned from that particular event. Whether it happened on July 3rd or August 15th, I don't know that it matters. But if it was an important battle because we learned something, let's learn what we need to learn, not try to be an encyclopedia for information.
Well, yeah, I myself am glad to hear this because for me, the AI issue has been, for me with AI, what I've learned about is that it's using AI is like playing the harmonica, which is it's easy to do, but it's difficult to do well.
That's a great example.
Yeah, that's basically it. And it's only as good as the person using it. And so we've all going through a learning curve of learning how to use it. And my students are all going into areas like promotion and advertising and marketing where AI is making huge strides in that. Yep. And I was telling them that the only way you're going to become employable is to have some kind of AI skills on your resume. So that's what I'm trying to do. There are other faculty and other departments who are really resistant to it because they just think it's just, the robot's going to tell you what to do. So it's going to be a growing pains in order for us to incorporate it. But I am gratified to hear that we will going into some kind of AI development, and it can be more part of the curriculum, and we'll have to change our curriculum to adapt to it. But the thing is that I do know that it's going to take a lot of computing strength. I mean, these things are huge energy vampires, as you probably know, and they have a huge carbon footprint and everything. And so do you foresee that we would have our own AI equipment here, or are we just going to be using the ones that are, Claude and ChatGPT, or would we be developing our own AI?
Right. We're exploring both of those options right now. Obviously, Gemini, which comes through our Microsoft license, is kind of a
actually that's Copilot.
It's Copilot with Microsoft.
Gemini is with Google.
Yeah. So we have that access to it, but you're right. It's not. We don't have full control, and we can't feed into the model exactly what we want. So there's an option for us on the operations side to use artificial intelligence to do a better job of evaluating transcripts, or to do a better job handing out financial aid. There's a number of things where we think operationally we could use AI to speed up our processes, be a little bit more creative, see some opportunities that maybe don't exist right now. But that means having your own system that you feed, the data into that doesn't, use the whole thing. So we're kind of exploring both at the moment. And then if we have our own, how does that fit into the academic profile of the institution? What can people do with it? So it's an ongoing conversation, not just here at Stephen F. Austin, but across the entire UT system. There's a lot of conversation about AI and how to appropriately use it, and what are the educational use cases on the operations side, but there's also some academic questions that have to be answered. So it's an ongoing conversation. But I hope we're engaged in it, and I hope we embrace the idea that this is where the world is going. You're not going to put it back in the box, right? And so the question is, how do our students live in a world where this is a part of what they do, not just in their personal life, but in their work life, and they need to be ready for it.
There's a couple university here in Texas where they've actually appointed a director of AI.
Yeah.
Now, do you foresee that happening here?
Those things usually happen, and once they start happening, they keep happening. So it could happen over time. I don't have any plans right off top of my head to do it, but I certainly think that as the conversation around artificial intelligence and responsible use and how do you teach, if it as it becomes a bigger issue on campus, it certainly can see where we would want somebody kind of coordinating our campus use of artificial intelligence, and so just like we have a dean of research and graduate programs, I can certainly see where somebody might need to take on that role.
Yeah, because I know of a couple faculty members here who would, not in our department, but over in the College of Liberal Applied Arts, who are very anxious to at least have an AI course, an AI training course, and they want to start build a course and then go through the whole process of getting it approved. So have you gotten any kind of inklings about that from other faculty? Are there other people who want to do that?
I haven't, but that doesn't usually come to me. But I hope that there are, and I would just say to anybody who's thinking along those lines, reach out to us, and
you would support that?
We would absolutely support it. We can help make that happen. Both, we want it. Like I said, the entrepreneurship program is a great way for some of our faculty to get engaged in this process. And if we need a little funding to kind of help make that happen, we can certainly look at those kind of options. But absolutely, we want faculty to be thinking and talking and figuring out how to embrace this new, exciting tool that we have, and hopefully teaching everybody how to use it.
Yeah. So just to kind of wrap things up, what do you foresee is going to be, what new things are on the horizon coming up that we haven't talked about already? Well,
there's a lot of, obviously, construction and renovation that's going to be happening. There's a town hall meeting on Friday, and our new provost, Dr. Barkley, will be hosting that. And I think there'll be a lot of discussion around reorganizing our academic colleges and how that might help and might change the dynamic of the institution. So I hope everybody will pay attention to that and be a part of that conversation.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. That is the number one thing people are talking about is the town hall.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and is it possible that some programs that are in some colleges will be moved over to other colleges, or are those some of the scenarios?
Yeah, I think I will say everything's kind of on the table, but this is a reorganization to better align ourselves with the economic needs of our region, to better align ourselves with the University of Texas system. And I think that the initial plans I've seen are very good, and that's why Dr. Barkley will be holding this town hall to have this conversation and to make sure everybody not only hears about it, but has a chance to offer their opinion as well. And we're going to end up in what I think will be a really exciting place for us institutionally, and will allow us to take our new strategic plan and our new master plan and really coordinate all of these activities together so that we end up where we want to be all at the same time in a really positive way. We're also talking about the workload policy. That's continues to be a conversation, and so I think that is really something that we need to address and make sure that we understand what workload is and how we're going to operate and get our faculty in the right positions. We're talking a lot about summer school and summer classes and how those are paid, and how we make sure we're offering the right courses that the students need so that we can continue to grow our summer enrollment. So there's a lot of conversations really happening around the academic units, and I think it's really exciting to see, and some things that probably have been set aside for a few years that need to get moving in a positive way. And our enrollment, I think, moved in a really good way, and we want to make sure we maintain that momentum, keep as many of those students in school. We typically lose about 29% of our freshman class, so we want to reduce that to about 20% of the freshman class, and that would be a real positive move for us. And so there's some talks around how we do that and what kind of a structure we need on the advising side and the student support side to make sure that those students have everything that they need to be successful. So a lot of good conversations around this institution and where we're going and how we're going to get there.
All right. Thanks for coming in today, and good luck the rest of the semester.
Thank you.